Lanes of traffic replaced with lava, airport approaches blocked by ash. Step back in time, and this was prehistoric Jackson. Its only landmark, a giant volcano jutting from the sea. Would you believe it still exists under your feet? It's true. Jacob Kittilstad is bringing the magma reminders this Mystery Monday.
Willie Baker 8, Baker Zulu Hotel.
Normally it's reserved for hurricanes and bad disasters.
Boston, Ida, Lima, Lima in Jackson, Mississippi.
But this weekend, the Salvation Army's communications truck stops at Hamfest, as in ham radio. It's at the trademark.
Amateur radio operators have also put satellites in orbit.
Where Mike Corey with the American Radio Relay League describes how quickly an area can be cut off by natural events.
So, cellular systems are just as vulnerable as landline systems to becoming overloaded or going down.
But maybe only a handful of these people know about the horror once bubbling right below their feet. Uncontainable, unrestrainable heat.
They've heard about the Coliseum being ground zero, if you will, because it is situated near the center of this plug that fed the volcano.
This is Hines County with Clinton and Jackson.
Geologist Michael Bograd says 75 million years ago, those radio operators would be toast. Evidence of the volcano can still be observed today underground by finding layers of rock pushed upwards.
Showing there was something here, some anomaly under Jackson.
But back then, he says, a shallow sea covered most of the state.
If you could visualize Caribbean island, lushly vegetated perhaps, and a mountain the size of the whole city. And it was spewing lava and ash.
But now the monster is gone, its skeleton still buried deep beneath us. But does that mean it's gone from this area for good? Much like the giant aquatic reptiles that used to swim around our then city.
It was a ferocious predator. No need to move. It's a delightful place to live. 65 million years go by, we say it's extinct, and with very, very little likelihood of anything ever happening in the future.
Good news for these emergency responders.
Cell towers are down, landlines are down, internet is unavailable.
Who already have their hands full helping during hurricanes, tornadoes, wildfires,
85XJ, 85XJ, WB8BZH.
Exploring the unexplained on Mystery Monday. Jacob Kittilstad, News Channel 12.
So is that why the State Fairgrounds sits so low compared to other buildings around Jackson? Geologists say no. In fact, the land's carved by more recent erosion caused by the floodplain of the Pearl River.
Well, last week we took you inside the Jackson volcano. Now we're going underground again, this time with man-made firepower.
It's a Cold War reminder still marking Lamar County, the only nuclear weapons test east of the Mississippi River, below the tiny town of Baxterville. And this test wasn't exactly confidential. Jacob Kittilstad feels those tremors this Mystery Monday.
The Tatum Salt Dome, 10 a.m. on October 22nd, 1964. The nuclear detonation drew crowds. A 5.3 kiloton yield test exploding 2,700 feet below ground surface. 10 a.m. on October 22nd, 1964, Betty Stevens was attending the nearby Purvis High School.
Mr. Patterson was teaching our history class, and I was sitting next to the wall, and all of a sudden, the wall started vibrating, and in several places in town, the windows were blown out.
The Hattiesburg American newspaper ran this picture of Horace Burge, his home ransacked by the blast. Another photo showed an official seismograph toppled by the tremors.
And it's cracked on the outside, too.
And even today, some buildings still show damage from the explosion, happening during a time people feared mutual assured destruction, a full-scale nuclear war.
I do not recall a boom sound. I just remember the feel of the floor, your feet on the floor. I remember the windows, the sounds they made, they were just really rattling.
Excuse me. The Atomic Energy Commission actually picked the Tatum Salt Dome, now known as the Salmon Testing Site, out of more than 200 other potential salt domes. So what made this the place to nuke?
They wanted to measure whether they could detect it, and I think that probably has gone a long way.
Jim Craig is Director of Health Protection for the state. He says Mississippi still does quarterly tests at the site of aquifers, groundwater, and public water systems. Rumors circulate even today of health issues caused by tritium, the isotope of concern.
There were a lot of cows that miscarried not too long afterwards.
It's one thing for the scientists to say, no, it's not true, and it's a whole other thing for them to be able to provide the test data. So we tested vegetables, and we tested meat, and we tested milk, and we tested just about everything that a human would consume, and again, we didn't find anything.
3 more explosions would happen at the Salt Dome, according to information from the Department of Energy, but none as large as the first. 10 a.m. on October 22nd, 1964.
You feel something.
The day Mississippi nuked itself.
Mr. Patterson was very great. He just said, they're having a testing out at Tatum Salt Dome today.
Exploring the unexplained on Mystery Monday, Jacob Kittilstad, News Channel 12.
I never want to hear they're having a testing. You know, that's kind of scary.
Makes you wonder,
Yeah,
right?
it does. Oh, my goodness. All right. Thank you, Jacob. 2 bodies under the floorboard, another stuffed inside a chimney. This is the notorious history of the King's Tavern, the oldest standing building in the city of Natchez. The building is now a restaurant with the stories of Madeline, a young girl said to haunt the space. Jacob Kittilstad pulls up to the bar this Mystery Monday.
Torching rosewater, capturing the smoke.
The nose on it is just phenomenal.
Bar manager Ricky Woolfolk mixes the complex cocktails at the King's Tavern, a restaurant he says specializing in spirits of all kinds.
Give you a prime example, one of our kitchen guys on a regular basis, he said, tells me that it feels like somebody walks up and just puts their hand right in the middle of his back.
One of my favorite rooms.
Regina Charbonneau is a nationally renowned chef de cuisine.
Small batch and not made in large bulk.
She's also the building's current owner.
Madeline's Room.
A title in questionable company.
It actually dates back to 1789. And it was owned by Richard King, and it was an original tavern.
The original owner, Richard King, from all stories I've heard and read up on, hired a young girl to come work for him, and from all accounts, it was his wife that actually hired 2 men to murder her.
But the most notorious history of this building was in 1932. The Postaway family lived here for about 130 years. The fireplace fell in, and they found 3 bodies, one of a young woman with a jeweled dagger. And so that's when the stories of Madeline, who was Mr. King's mistress, came to light, and the building is supposedly haunted by Madeline.
Ghost or no ghost, the building's been remade, renovated, and reopened during the last few months without issue. A wood-burning pizza stove crackles, while the chimney, once turned crypt, stays cold. But the real question is now, do the employees who work here actually believe that this ghost, Madeline, exists?
You know, I was not a believer originally, but there have been a couple of incidents, and the most bizarre incident that I had was the other day I was waiting for a refrigeration person to come repair a refrigerator. So I was going to text him that I would open the back door. When I picked up my phone, the word ghost was in my text box. And I know you can kind of explain that with like hitting buttons or predictive text or whatever, but it is the most strange thing that's happened to me.
Antica formula vermouth.
For others, there's an actual aura.
And just intense feelings of sadness and dread, and it's really weird. It'll come on like lightning and then hit you like a ton of bricks, and then it's gone.
We kind of focus on spirits of a different kind, our craft cocktails, but people come every day to hear and see about Madeline, the ghost.
Exploring the unexplained on Mystery Monday, Jacob Kittilstad, News Channel 12.
A business owner is also working to open a distillery next door, completely reopening the supposedly haunted space. If you have a good idea for a Mystery Monday, check WJTV.com for more information.